Coming up next on the Conscious Courage podcast.
Find an activity that you enjoy, whether it's walking, swimming, stretching, or something else, but make it a regular part of your life. The goal is to create a routine that supports your recovery as well as your mental health.
Good morning. Welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast and sing it with me. Happy Motivational Monday. I am your host, Davone'a. I meet with you all every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to provide practical steps toward our inner healing journey, or what I've coined internal glow up. Whether you're here as a first-time listener or returning, thank you for tuning in. The team and I are grateful to every subscriber via YouTube and every listener via Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. With a special shout out to all of our IGU babes keeping up with us on social media on all platforms at CC Podcast with DT. Y'all are locked in and we are too hyped to have you here, all right? Now, ensure to listen on through so you can receive those practical steps as well as any announcements that we may have. Let's dive on into today's episode.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Conscious Courage Podcast Dubai edition. Yes, your girl is recording this from Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Let's go. Episode 24 is all about addictions and co-occurring mental disorders. So excuse me, I don't have my normal setup. I will need to look down to read the notes for this episode. Y'all, so just recap real quick. Last week was all about us uncovering the basics of addictions with healthy coping strategies and the importance of a self-care or having self-care in your recovery. But today we are deep diving into how addiction interacts with our mental health disorders like anxiety, depression, PTSD, as well as other disorders. So let's first define and understand what a co-occurring disorder is. So co-occurring disorders, also known as dual diagnosis, refer to the presence of both a substance use disorder and a mental health disorder in the same individual. Okay, two things going on in the same person. It's more common than many people realize. So studies have suggested that nearly half of those with a substance use disorder also have a co-occurring mental health disorder. Now, how addiction and mental disorders interact. So addiction and mental health disorders often feed into one another. For example, someone with anxiety or depression might turn to substances to self-medicate, seeking temporary relief from their symptoms. And I go into that in the first episode of this mini-series on addiction. Unfortunately, this can create a vicious cycle where the substance use worsens the mental health condition, leading to increased use and deeper addiction. Some of the common co-occurring disorders, some of the most mental health disorders that occur with addiction include depression, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as bipolar. Now, let me break some of these down for you. So depression, that is the substance use can intensify depressive symptoms, which leads to a deeper sense of hopelessness and despair. And with someone who has anxiety or has been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, those individuals with anxiety may use drugs or alcohol to calm their nerves, but this often leads to increased anxiety over time. And last month, in the month of August, it was all about anxiety awareness, and I broke that thing on down, y'all. And the last episode specifically was underscoring the spiritual aspect of anxiety. So ensure that you go back and you listen to that to gain some further awareness, deeper awareness of anxiety as it relates to psychology, but also anxiety as it relates to the spiritual warfare. Now, how post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, is exacerbated by way of substance use. So those with PTSD may use substances to numb the emotional pain or flashbacks, but this can exacerbate their symptoms in the long run, and exacerbate simply means to make worse. Someone with bipolar, or who has been diagnosed with bipolar, let me watch my words, okay? We don't have these things. So people who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder may use substances to manage the highs and the lows of their mood swings, but this often leads to more erotic behavior and worsened symptoms. Now let's shift on into part two. I hope y'all keeping up with me. Excuse me, I may be speaking a little faster than normal. Y'all, as I mentioned, I don't have all of my setup here, so I need to ensure that I'm able to capture these notes, bring you this information. Don't miss a Monday, even though I'm on vacation. I think I just rhymed a little bit. Let me stop. So bear with me. Part two here is the healthy coping strategies for the co-occurring disorders. And those co-occurring disorders are not limited to what I just provided you all with. Mindfulness and meditation. I've shared with you all again, when I use the terminology or the phrase mindfulness or even meditation, I'm not speaking from the way that the world uses it. Meditation for me is simply just having a quiet place or separating myself, detaching, if you will, and allowing myself to be present. That can be in prayer and fasting or simply in silence. And then there's the mindfulness, and that is simply being aware, for me at least, what's going on internally. Why is my head hurting? Why do I all of a sudden have a stomach ache? Why do I feel uneasy? In allowing myself to recognize when my body is trying to communicate something to me, or even the Holy Spirit is trying to communicate something to me, and having the wherewithal or the awareness to go, okay, let me sit back and think about this or tune into what's going on. So that's my form of meditation and mindfulness. Now, mindfulness here is a powerful tool for anyone dealing with addiction and mental health disorders. And how could this be so? Because when you're practicing that awareness, you learn to observe your thoughts and the emotions without getting swept away by them. And this particularly is helpful for managing the cravings and reducing the impact of triggers. And I've shared this before, in which someone may say, okay, today is Monday, and on Mondays I drink. Well, when they recognize that, wow, I seem to drink really heavily on Mondays. Well, why is that? Well, I have trained my brain that Mondays mean I turn up. So what can you do to reverse that? Is simply having a Monday, you got off of work, you feel the urge to drink, and you go, okay, no, I don't need this. This is not a requirement. Because as I've mentioned, addiction, what happens with our brain is now we have, or a person has trained themselves up or has trained the brain to recognize, hey, I need this substance in order to survive. And now the brain is under the impression that without said alcohol, it cannot go on, but you can also rewire your brain. So you can rewire yourself to recognize, okay, I do not require this. Therefore, when you have that trigger, shift your focus. Call that friend, call that accountability partner, go out and do what it is that you enjoy doing. Go out and run or take a nap, journal, play with your children, play with your pet. Simply sit there and decompress. Maybe it's scrolling on a social media site, although I don't really promote that. But what you're trying to do is refocus, get your focus and attention off of the alcohol, off of the substance, onto somewhere else. Having that relapse management program so that when you have that sudden urge, if you're already on your journey to recovery, and congratulations, then you have those steps in place to help yourself recover, or not to dive into that said urge. Y'all, I was just thinking, I hope they don't see baby. Okay, listen, it has been a time and my nails are popping off. So I'm like, oh, hopefully they don't notice that I have a nail or three missing, maybe even five. Anyway, exercise and physical activity, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Consider incorporating daily mindfulness meditation into your routine, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. It can help you stay grounded and more in control of your responses to stress. And that's the point, really, to take away from meditation, which is also being aware and giving yourself that space of quiet time. And that is so that you can have the control over, don't allow the stress to control you. Don't allow your emotions to control you. Don't allow that urge or that trigger to control you, but for you to have and to be in control, or give control to the Lord, okay? And He will help and guide you and send the right team, family members, friends, and support system your way. So there's also the exercise and physical activity part. And physical activity is essential for both the physical and the mental health. Regular exercise has been shown to reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, boost your mood, and improve your overall well-being. It's also a great way to manage those cravings and reduce stress. I've spoke about this because when you're working out, you have a release of dopamine, which is our happy drug. You also have the experience of endorphins, and it's a feel good. Like, have you ever just some push-ups, sit-ups, a good stretch in the morning time, even when you get out of the bed and you just stretch in the morning, and there's such a relief and like a new awakening and awareness that you experience. So adding that physical activity to your day in the morning, midday, or in the evening time. So find an activity that you enjoy, whether it's walking, swimming, stretching, or something else, but make it a regular part of your life. The goal is to create a routine that supports your recovery as well as your mental health.
Ad break. Are you seeking an electrifying speaker to ignite transformation in your audience? Well, look no further. Hi, I'm Davone'a Touche, real estate investor, Air Force veteran, and host of the Conscious Courage podcast, where new episodes are released every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and all streaming audio platforms. I specialize in delivering impactful keynote speeches that inspire change and elevate your minds. Whether it's a virtual gathering or an in-person event, I bring passion, expertise, and a unique delivery to every arena or every environment that I'm in. Let's captivate your audience together and create an unforgettable experience. Contact me today to book your next event, and let's embark on this journey of transformation, or let's get all of your attendees on this journey toward internal glow up. You can book me via my website by going to www.davoneatouche.com. I'll spell that for you. It is www.DAV as in Victor, ONEATASHAE.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Take care.
Some hobbies and creative outlets. So engaging in hobbies and creative activities can be incredibly therapeutic, y'all. Whether it's painting, writing, playing music, or any other creative pursuit, these activities allow you to express yourself and process emotions in a healthy way. And that's what we want to do, is practicing expressing ourselves in healthy ways. So hobbies also provide a distraction from cravings and negative thoughts, giving you a positive focus and a sense of accomplishment. Now, in this section, I want to highlight the management of your cravings, triggers, and your relapse prevention. So understanding your triggers is a key part of managing addiction with the co-occurring disorders. So triggers can be anything from stressful situations, certain people, okay, family, friends, exes, you name it, co-workers, or specific environments that lead to cravings or exacerbate that mental health symptoms. Once you've identified your triggers, you can develop strategies to avoid them or cope with them in a healthy way. And these might include practicing deep breathing, using grounding techniques, or reaching out to that support person, as I've mentioned. You want to develop a relapse prevention plan. A relapse prevention plan is an essential tool for anyone in recovery, and this plan should include strategies for managing your cravings, avoiding triggers, and what to do if you start to feel like you're slipping on back into some old patterns. And you can go and watch episode 23 from last week as it pertains to creating those relapse management tools and strategies. I elaborate a lot more in that episode here. Part of your plan should include a regular check-in with your therapist or support group, as well as maintaining your self-care routines. And remember that relapse is not failure. It's a part of the recovery journey, y'all, for many people. And having a plan in place can help you navigate it and get back on track. There's also having a support system in place. So building and maintaining a strong support system is crucial for managing your co-occurring disorders. And this might include friends, family, therapists, or your support groups. These individuals can offer encouragement, accountability, and a listening ear when you need it most. But don't hesitate to reach out for help. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed by your mental health symptoms, struggling with cravings, or just need someone to talk to, support is out there and it's okay to lean on others. Again, you can reach out to Alcohol Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. There are other helplines out there for you and in your local area. Simply going to Google and researching addiction to helping resources in this location. So fill in the blanks as you see fit. Part 4 is all about the importance of self-care and emotional regulation. I talk often about self-care. It's near and dear to my heart. Self-care is taking a vacation, a bath, decompressing, stepping away from the normal day-to-day activities that you have, spending a little extra time in the shower. It is going into the bathroom and closing the door. Funny story. I have one of my siblings in college right now, and it's a number of them sharing a unit, and there's one bathroom. And he was sharing that like his self-care is going to the bathroom and just sitting in there as long as possible, because he knows at some point in time, within a few seconds after closing the door, somebody's going to come knocking trying to get in. So his self-care is just spending a little extra time in the bathroom. You never know where you get your self-care, okay? Just have a self-care routine or have that foundation of self-care. Now, self-care is the foundation of managing both addiction and mental health disorders. This includes basic practices like getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, staying hydrated, and taking time for relaxation and enjoyment. Think of self-care as a non-negotiable. If you were to create a list and you had your negotiable side and you had your non-negotiable side, self-care is a non-negotiable. You will receive your self-care no matter what. It's not just about traveling or treating yourself, but about maintaining your overall well-being. And consistent self-care can help you manage stress, regulate your emotions, and stay on the path to recovery. There's also the emotional regulation piece of it. And so I want to give you this emotional regulation technique, and that is learning to manage your emotions in a healthy way. This might include practicing like journaling or talking to a trusted friend or family member, or using the mindfulness techniques to stay centered. Again, what is mindfulness? Being aware that will keep you centered. Oh my gosh, right now I am starting to feel anxious. Right now I'm becoming upset. Right now someone said when they're tired, they begin to complain. So what can they do to mitigate that? Take a nap. No, they can, communicate that. I think that's a very healthy emotional regulation, being able to communicate exactly how you're feeling at that time and how you're showing up, even if you're not showing up in the best way for yourself or others. By developing a strong emotional regulation skill or skills, you can better cope with the ups and the downs of life, reduce the impact of triggers, and maintain your sobriety. So for those who might reach out and use marijuana as a way of escaping. Sometimes people don't look at it that way. They just think, oh, well, I've heard someone say smoking opens up my mind and I'm a lot more focused. But does it really? Or have you programmed yourself to think that if you were to simply step away and become one and spend more time with yourself, you can still produce the same goals, dreams, and visions that you would using said substance, but without it. So addiction also is like a sneaky, sly way of creeping in and having a person feel like, well, I can only achieve this by doing X, or I can only experience this by doing Y. And really, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, baby, can fall on your life and still allow you to have sound sleep, sound judgment, and be creative. But you have to lean in and find your love and your peace in our Father in heaven, okay? And we can break that down a little bit more, you hear me? Slide into my DM, send me a message, or shoot me a text message, whatever the case may be, and we can elaborate a lot more on that part. But let me get back to addiction, because if I get off my notes, y'all, I will start preaching on accident. And that's not what I intend on doing. Let me get you some final thoughts. Managing your co-occurring disorders, not okay? Managing your co-occurring disorders is a challenging journey, but with the right tools and support, it's absolutely possible. It's incorporating your healthy coping strategies, understanding your triggers, and building a strong support system. Then you can navigate the complexities of addiction and mental health with resilience and courage. What is resilience? The ability to bounce back. What is courage? Telling yourself you can do this. I will overcome. I am greater than this beer. I am greater than the wine. I am greater than the cigarettes, the marijuana, the cocaine, the heroin. I am greater than the addiction to pornography. I am greater than the addiction to coffee. I am greater than getting lost in social media, because more often than not, when a person is turning to something, some form of a substance, it is because they are seeking to escape. But when you become aware of what it is you're running from and you turn around and you face that thing, you begin to have that courage and building yourself up and having the strength to overcome. And while you're on that journey, again, remember, you don't have to do it alone. There's support systems out there. Lean on your friends, your family, find you a church home, call one of the anonymous helplines out there where they can provide you the additional support necessary. And to my military brothers and sisters out there, it's going out to mental health and getting the support and the help, that you need. Now, y'all, you're not alone in this journey. There's help available and taking steps toward record. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. There's help available, and taking steps toward recovery is a powerful act of courage. And keep moving forward, y'all, one day at a time, and know that every small victory is a step toward a healthier, more fulfilling life. Now, in the next episode, we are exploring triumphing over addiction with Mr. Anthony Davis. He is sharing his story on the beginning stages of addiction, or his introduction to beer and cigarettes at a very young age that then morphed into something more, it morphed into an addiction, and his recovery and his sobriety and everything that he is doing now to impact others. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be so, so good. And after that is an episode. We will close out this mini series with another interview, and that is with Mrs. Nafia Reed, and she shares her story of overcoming addiction to food, as well as the unfortunate story, or as well as the unfortunate experience she had losing her brother who succumbed to his addiction. Definitely stay tuned, because as I've mentioned before, I can bring you information and definition and some strategies, but it's different to hear from someone who has overcome, and they can bring you the power and the strength and the words and the tenacity and the resilience and the encouragement necessary to overcome and to stay away and to continue to be clean and have that sobriety. In this episode, the practical steps are definitely embedded within this here video. So that is the journaling, having physical activity, exercising, as well as being aware, having the ability to phone a friend, having that accountability partner or group of people, reaching out and using resources that are free and available to you by searching for help in your local area, going out and using a search engine. Look at a newspaper if you don't have access to the internet, seeing what is available, walking into a church and seeking help by way of the men and women of God in your local area. But thank you for tuning in to today's episode. It's a little faster than usual, but I have to get out and explore before this here is over. However, I also know my responsibilities in getting this information out there. I love it, and I am prayerful that you all are enjoying this here mini session on addiction. And remember that there is healing. Remember, healing is a journey, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. If you enjoyed today's discussion and you want to continue this journey together, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, like the episode, leave a review, and share with at least 3 to 5 people, y'all. It's only 4 steps that I'm asking for. Until next time, stay courageous and conscious and keep glowing from within. Remember also that it takes courage to be conscious, and courage is the key to conscious living. I love y'all. Until next week. Oh my gosh, please come back. Please come back for these interviews. They're so, so good. I recorded them in May, so they've just been able to marinate and just get even more seasoned and juicy for you. So until then, y'all take care, be blessed, and I'll talk to y'all then.
Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies, it's imperative that I note and clarify that I am not a licensed professional. The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insights, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health clinician or a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is of the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.